Hello, hello, hello. This is Kim and Jerkitis. Welcome to Deliver It, a product owner's podcast. And across from this very long table, I see one Cory Bryan.
It is a big table.
We moved into this fabulous new room.
It's a new little space, yes.
And Cory's far, far away.
I'm a little further away. I'm not on the opposite side of the room, but I'm on the opposite side of the
I mean, you're good at least 8-10 feet away.
I can stretch.
And then I can punch and not punch you in the face.
And you won't punch me in the face anymore. Because that's annoying.
That is annoying. Don't you hate when that happens?
Yes, I do.
I know.
It's not fun.
No, it's not.
How are you?
I'm great.
You're exhausted.
I'm so exhausted.
I know what that means.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we've been very busy. So the audience, we're getting our house ready to put on the market. So there's been a lot of house repairs and dealing with construction crews and
all that good stuff.
All that great stuff.
All that lovely, lovely stuff.
But soon, tomorrow is the big day.
Yeah.
And then I can sit back and wait for the offers to come rolling in.
That's what happens.
Because, I want the bidding war.
Yes.
I bought myself a little St. Joseph statue because he's supposed to help me sell the house.
Oh, okay.
And what you're supposed to do.
You bury it in the backyard?
Actually, you bury it in the front yard.
At the corner of the house.
Next to the for sale sign.
Damn, I'm all kinds of wrong.
About 8 inches below the ground, facing down.
Weird.
I'm just following
all
instructions.
Right. You were told.
So he's been hanging out in the kitchen, and I've been talking to him every day. And I'm like, hey, St. Joseph.
Right.
Can you bring me multiple offers, please?
I don't think that's the way
I'm like,
it works.
I'll be your best friend.
I don't think that's the way it works.
My mom said, tell him you go to church every Sunday. And I'm like, nope. Anyhow, what's going on with you?
Well, I'm getting ready to go on vacation. Going to a lovely podcasting and nerd culture conference thing.
What's it called?
Nerdtacular.
Nerdtacular?
Yes. It's very geeky.
That's nerdtastic.
Yes. It'll be fun. I went last year, and that's kind of where I got the idea for doing something. And
so does that mean you're going to come back with a whole bunch of crazy podcast ideas?
I'm sure.
Oh, my God.
And you're going to have to listen to them.
Oh, my God. You're going to be texting me every now and again. Oh, here's another thing we can do.
I got a good idea.
Oh,
no,
boy.
I'll try I'll try to ration my enthusiasm for
enthusiasms. Well, that sounds exciting. How long are you gone for?
A couple days.
All right.
Be back next week.
Make some new nerdy friends.
Yes.
Very good.
Good stuff.
I'd be curious to see what you come back with, honestly. I mean, I'll laugh at most of your ideas. But
sure.
I'll be interested in hearing what they are.
That's good. As long as you're honest.
Yes.
So I was very excited this week to see the State of Scrum results were released.
Ooh.
I know. So they held a couple webinars, which I was not able to attend, but they released the document, and we'll put a link to that. But there were several good things in there. It was pretty big. It's about 35 pages of the survey. The worldwide survey was about 4,000, I think, 4,000, 6,000 people that responded.
Wow.
Done by the Scrum Alliance. And some of the results were interesting. We're not going to go over the whole thing, but I think some of the more product owner-centric results were kind of what I wanted to bring up.
So these people that took the survey, they're all in Scrum in one way or another?
Well, there's not a limitation on who can respond to the survey.
Okay.
So they sent the survey out, and whoever could respond, responded.
So you have Scrum Masters and product owners and
they
coaches
break that down and
okay.
what type of role they have in the organization. And
did you fill it out by chance?
I did.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, I think I mentioned it on like episode 3 or 4.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
So,
Blast from the past.
But some interesting results, product owner wise. The certification thing. So it's done by Scrum Alliance. They're a big certifier. And of course, they'll have questions about certifications because that's how they get some money. 21% of the organizations that responded required certifications, specifically things like certified Scrum Master, certified product owner, all those types of things. The same amount, 21%, were certified. So I don't know if that's a causation with a corollary or, whatever that is.
It's interesting.
But there's 21% who are certified Scrum product owners. I'm one of them. And there's 21% of the organizations that require people to be certified product owners.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm still not, again,
I'm puzzled.
Yeah. It's a little interesting.
It's a little puzzling.
Yeah. And again, the certification, I've got it. You can get it. It's not that hard to get. It's a day in a class and a couple $100 and you're certified.
That's right. That's all it takes.
It's the basics, basically. Mm-hmm. Basically? Yes.
Basically the basics.
It's basically the basics. It is the most stable role in the survey results on the team. On a Scrum type team, the product owner is the most stable role.
How do they define stable?
That's a good question. I'll have to dig into that. I didn't read into that, but they knew what product owners were and they were able in working with the teams. That's good. 12% of the teams, or 12% of respondents, didn't have a product owner.
Shaking my head.
Yeah, I know.
Sad.
It's good that it's a low percentage.
Do they need a product owner?
It's good that it's a low percentage. But yeah, 12% did have one. One of the things they had a key challenge was the product owner and the teams are not willing or enthusiastic about Scrum. That was a key challenge to most agile adoptions.
That makes sense because people don't like change.
Yes.
And they're resistant to change.
Yes. So that was interesting. We'll post the link for that and, you can read it yourself. They do
that yearly, the State of Scrum?
They do it yearly. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they do it yearly. The other document that I could see was the 2013 one. So I don't know if they do it biannually or.
I'd be curious how it fluctuates from year after year, the findings.
That's true. To kind of graph it year to year.
Yep.
Trend analysis.
Yes, very good.
And there was a great article I saw on Agile for All about ways to reduce the load on the product owner. Yes. Basically, it says that the product owner, most of the time, is the constraint, right? It's a single point of failure, usually. It's the team needs them, the business needs them, they need to do a lot of work. There's a lot of demand on the product owner, which there is, right? There's a lot of demand on my time or your time. So it's basically looking through some ways to reduce that dependency, that constraint. They go through a matrix of 5 things that they think product owners should do to lessen that dependency. And I like these 5.
Okay.
So one of them is do less.
Excuse me, Mr. Manager.
Yeah.
I'm now going to be doing less.
I'm going to be do less of the things that don't add value, that aren't productive, that aren't worthwhile in some way, right? There's lots of busy work that everybody does, product owners included. Don't do that busy work, basically. I like that.
I'm sitting here wondering what I can do less of.
Okay. Well, while you sit there and contemplate that.
Continue on.
Delegate completely is the second one. So what is something that you can have somebody else do? It's important. It's valuable. So we should be doing it. So it falls out of that do less category. But somebody else can probably do that or own that piece. So this is where I like to have, if I'm on a large enough project and I have a project manager, right? There's certain things that have to be done that a project manager are better suited to do than I am. Or I don't want to do it, so I'll find somebody else that's their job, right? That's what they like to do. So that's where you can delegate stuff like that. So I like that one too. Delegate and mentor. So this is a lot where when you first came and we started working together, that's a lot of what I did, right? So there's this thing that we need to do. I'll help you figure out how to do it, and then you'll learn on your own, and you can do it from then on.
That's assuming you have somebody there that you can
That's
mentor.
assuming you have somebody there, yes.
These are all assuming that you've got people you can delegate work to.
Yes.
Just want to point that out.
Well, yes. In that case, the first one, do less. Again.
Just go back to doing less.
Yes. Collaborate is the fourth one. So what can you do? What do you have on your plate that you can pair with somebody else and get a better outcome with? Either it's a better quality, a story, or a delivery, or a presentation, or something that you need to do as a product owner. Who can you work with to get that done better, a better result?
Yep.
Lots of collaboration. And then own. So these are the things that you have to do yourself. So you need, and there's not a lot of that really. I mean, there's very few things that I think the product owner should do by themselves. Prioritization is probably one thing, right? But everybody can help with stories, with business value, with understanding, with planning, with all the other things that we talk about, a lot of people can help with those, I think.
So you know that the developers and the quality people are reading an article called Reducing the Load on the Developers or Reducing the Load on the QA. And they're like, hey, do less.
Well, they probably
delegate and mentor.
Obviously.
We're all reading the same article.
I'm gonna say that the developers and testers probably should be doing less busy work. And more value-added stuff. That's what I'm going to say.
I think it's a nice article.
It's a good article, and it's got some good things, some strategies. And then it's got a way to kind of map that out into your own personal product owner backlog. And we've talked about that before, personal Kanban and what do you need to work on. So there's ways that you can do that. So things that you can collaborate or delegate, you can put those on your backlog and figure out who you can work with. But it's a good idea. It's a strategy. It's not foolproof. Probably wrong in some aspects.
I'm sitting here over here a little skeptical.
But you can try it.
Okay, we'll read the article. You never know.
That's right. So that was good. And then we're going to talk about our topic today.
Topic of the day.
Now, we're going to be talking about something interesting. I like these topics a little bit better than I do some of the ceremony type topics and how product owners deal with them.
Why?
Because it's more conversational. It's about our experience. So what we're going to talk about is how to have fun as a product owner.
With your team.
With your team.
Or on your own.
On your own. in reference to product ownership and the job, that is.
That's right.
But basically, how do you find ways to enjoy the role or find better ways to enjoy the role? That's what we're going to talk about today. And why we're going to do that, why we want to have fun, obviously because we don't want to be dragging and regretting going into work every day. We want to find ways to better engage with the team and with the business. So people are more engaged when they're having fun and they're slogging through meeting after meeting or boring thing after boring thing. So we have to make it a good environment. It has to be a positive environment for the team and for the business. And because we're dealing with people. And people have attitudes and they have needs and wants and responses and everything else. So they have to feel that they're having fun and they're in a good environment as well. Mm-hmm. And really, with the same thing with the Agile mindset, we want to have a good mindset, a good fun mindset for the people that we're working with.
Right. And when we're having fun, it allows us to be more interactive, which is important. And if I would say, meetings, if you can have fun in your meetings, then people will more likely want to attend your meetings because they know they're not going to be stuffy.
Right.
And depressing or too serious.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying that you had to jump around and dance like a clown.
No, you don't have to be still Steve Ballmer.
You don't have to be
the head of Microsoft who was traipsing across the stage, jumping and yelling.
Oh.
Don't be that guy.
We should have a list of don't have fun in these ways.
Yeah.
But it actually makes complex teamwork fun. And, then the quality and the productivity is just kind of a byproduct of that.
Yeah. I mean, the good conversations, the good engagement in these meetings is what you're after so that people, it's probably too much to ask them to look forward to going to meetings because that very rarely happens. But I think having them say, oh, we're going to talk about this today. Cool. Let's get in there and do it.
Right. I don't know. I look forward to some meetings.
Some meetings, yes.
I do.
Others.
No. My grooming sessions, I love my grooming sessions, and I usually jump around and try to have fun with my team because I want them to enjoy it too.
Good. So we're going to talk about some of the strategies, some of the things we've done before.
Yep.
And some of the things other people have suggested. So the first thing I think is you have to be open to this. You have to have a mindset of, you know what, whatever happens, we're going to let it go and we're going to see what, where it leads. We're going to talk openly, get to know our team and our business, get to know them personally, get to know them professionally, get to know what they value. And then one of the things I always like doing is I like being the target for a lot of the stuff.
You're a good target, Cory.
Yes. So you have to, in my mind, you have to be open to this stuff, right?
Sure.
You have to let people kind of bond against or with something or against something. So I would much rather take the hit from both the team side and the business side than those two entities going after each other, right? So I'm open to having jokes played on me. I'm open to, being seen as a little silly or as a little bit goofy or something else. But I want to take the pressure off the team. And that's part of the reason why I want to do that, because I want them to have a good experience, a good attitude. And if making fun of me for a little bit helps do that, that's fine. It's not that they don't take me seriously. It's they understand that I'm willing to play with them a little bit.
Right. I mean, it's a sense of enjoying yourself. And, if you can enjoy yourself, that's great. And if you can do it at Cory's expense, that's even better.
Yeah. Another thing I like doing, again, just to have a little bit of fun, is to change things up. So if we're in a meeting, let's have it in a different space. Let's do different things with it. Let's have some creativity in the meeting. So let's have whiteboard sessions. Let's have sticky message sessions, or whatever you want to do. Brainstorming. I love doing brainstorming with the team because it opens up a whole new avenue of ideas, things we can explore. And that's a way to have fun for me. Is I get energized and engaged in those sessions a lot. I know some people probably don't, and that's okay, because we're trying something, and at some point we'll hit something that engages and interests them. Yeah. So I'm not afraid to be embarrassed.
No.
Obviously. It's not formal. So again, we don't keep these meetings or these sessions or anything that we're doing, we don't keep them formal. We want it to be very open. And the strategy is to make this all about the team. So whatever we're doing for the benefit of the team.
Right. I mean, the first thing is, okay, what's the purpose of this meeting? What am I trying to get out of it?
Yeah.
And then how can I achieve that goal and have it be fun and have some laughter and some jokes and some conversation instead of being so stodgy?
Yeah. Yeah. Having fun does not equal no work getting done.
No.
So I've, in my experience, people are much more engaged and much more likely to work better or more, or feel like their work means more when they're having fun, when they're more engaged. Lots of articles about millennials and how best to get them to work or work with them. And I think one of the things is they have to be engaged, and they have to feel that their value is something that means something. So
they want
have
to be
show
heard.
them. Yeah, they want to be heard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, be open to it and let them go a little bit. So if the team's having fun and they're cutting up and they're double over laughing or something, if it's 3 days to go in the sprint and there's 2 stories done, I'm going to let it go. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say, you know what, just have a little fun. And then when you're done laughing and you've dried the tears from your eyes and you've cleaned up all the coffee you've spilt, then, let me know when you get that story ready to accept.
Yep.
I had an experience with one of my university teams that I just loved. It's probably the favorite thing that's happened in the 3 years that I've worked with those students. So it's 6 teams. I had, it was pretty early in the process, and the students were trying to decide if they could do something technically. So they're doing basically a research spike on a technology that it was an interface. So basically when you're navigating through this interface, if you hit a panel, the panel would rotate and then it would show a different image. And the idea was it was kind of a beehive type thing. Mm-hmm. So I just said, go see if you can, next week we're going to come back, see if you can figure out how to make that technology work on a mobile device. So they went away, and a week later we came back. The guy showed it to me on his phone. He showed me the grid. And it was a grid, and he showed me the interaction, and he tapped the thing and it rotated, and there was another image, and he tapped another thing and it rotated back. It worked perfectly technically, right? Mm-hmm. They were images of cats just everywhere. And it was cats. And every time he tapped the thing, it was another cat. And it was a different cat. And the cat would turn and the cat would. That's fun.
Yes.
That made me smile so much. And it because they loved it. They were having fun doing it. They just said, just grab an image. Oh, okay, let's have a cat, right? It's not a stodgy. It's not a corporate thing. It's not a university thing. It's just they needed an image. The first thing that came to their mind was, I got a cat. So here's a cat picture.
That's awesome.
Now, of course, that's not what they delivered,
But they were just showing you that it works.
They were just showing me that it works. It
Right.
was just a spike, and it was just for fun. So I love that, that type of thing. And I've seen it in a couple other places, but that was the one that really blew me away just because it worked. It worked perfectly. It was just cats.
That's pretty cool. So let's talk about some examples. You just talked about your cat, the cat turn.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I want to have is a good goal. So the goal can be fun. So the fun in there is getting to that goal, right? So how do we get to that goal that's meaningful, but do it in the sense that we enjoy getting there? Mm-hmm. So not have a corporate business speak goal, right? Not we want to increase, blah, blah, blah by 3% per quarter or something like that. That's not a good, it may be a good goal. It may be a true goal, but it's not a fun goal.
No. And it's not anything that anybody can really relate to.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you want to personalize it and make it, humanize it, essentially.
Yeah. So a good example, and you see all these examples when they're talking about stories, they talk about travel sites and how you can make a story better on a travel site. Well, imagine a goal that said, I want to get my family to Disney World.
Right.
That was the goal for the sprint. Well, how do I do that? How would I go about doing that? And our product, how does our product contribute to that? Our product may be only a small percentage of how a family actually gets to Disney World, but that's the goal. That's the goal that we want to have for our users. So I like doing that.
I like that.
Also, we should celebrate things.
Celebrate everything.
Celebrate everything, yeah. So don't be afraid to bring in and make a big deal of end of sprints, end of release, demos, anything that we can celebrate. Let's celebrate.
And how do we celebrate? I know that food's a big deal.
Big thing.
Everybody likes the food to celebrate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What else? Recognitions.
Mm-hmm. Pictures.
I like being loud and being obnoxious about the fact that we're celebrating in our team area.
We do a lot of woohoos.
Yeah.
A lot of clapping and go team, that kind of thing. And it's, in a way it's kind of like cheesy, but it's fun. And there's a certain level of enthusiasm and energy that comes with those.
Right.
Which I love that.
Yeah, I do too. Mm-hmm. Okay. I like having personas. So when we're doing our stories and we have our personas set up, I like having personas that are a little bit sideways, right? So it's not, and she's an accountant. She works from 8 from 5. I want to put on there things like, this is Dolores. She's 72. She doesn't like teenagers. She, that type of persona. Go a little deeper. Make up more things, not just the rote stuff, but what's interesting about a persona that you could make up, and then apply that to the story, right? Anne wants, as a whatever type of user you want to have, Dolores be, sorry, whatever kind of user, what kind of quirky thing does she want to do with your app, or what kind of quirky thing does she want to do that she doesn't like teenagers? Okay, let's find a way to get her to get rid of teenagers at her convenience store or something like that.
Right.
So just something interesting to make the story a little more relatable or a little more memorable.
Right.
Can make it fun as well, at least for me.
That's interesting.
And people will pick it apart, and that's fine. Go ahead.
Why doesn't she like teenagers?
Yeah, it's right.
Teenagers are awesome.
Because she was one.
She remembers what they do.
Yep. We've started demos and we've started planning sessions with music.
I do that.
Yeah.
I do that at grooming sessions, but I play like a nice kind of jazz or classical in the background.
Yeah. You don't start with anything crazy.
I don't start. I just let it go. And we just have the music
just
the
as they're walking
time.
In. Oh, just underneath.
The whole time,
so it's like a musical interlude.
Yeah. It's kind of like hanging out in the elevator, doing some grooming.
You're hanging out in the elevator. So kind of
but the music's very like kind of chill or classical, or it's not like that.
Oh, okay.
That's like flapper music. No.
All right.
But I like having the music.
Yeah.
It gives it a little something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I like naming things probably too much.
Your acronyms, you mean?
Well, I like naming things and I like acronyms. I'm for military. I like my acronyms. I like making acronyms of things. I like bacronyming things.
Yes.
So I've had several teams comment on my acronyms and make fun of me for making acronyms or tear them apart or come up with acronyms on their own. That to me is fun.
But it's creative.
It is.
It's mindful, it's thoughtful, and it's creative at the same time.
Yeah. And they get engaged. The team members in the business gets engaged. I'm more apt to do it with my team than I am with the business, depending on who I'm dealing with on the business side. But the team really has fun with it when I come up with stuff like that. And it's fun for me because, like I said, I like doing it myself, but it's fun to talk about it. And sometimes those things get used I had a term at my last job. I can't remember the actual term now, but there was an acronym that was running around, and I basically said it.
It was running around.
Just by itself. You whack it on the head. But it was going around, but I said it as a word. And it's something like the Whiffus or something like that.
Like WYSIWYG kind of a thing?
Yeah. But other people picked up on it. It was just fun. Right? Whiffus.
So speaking of naming, when Cory and I were about ready to embark on this podcast journey, Cory called me and said, I think I have a couple names we can look at and consider. How many were on your list?
There was 300 or so.
And he said, add to it. And I'm like, add what? You've thought of everything. So that's true. You like your naming.
Yeah. And I like the team to have good names.
Me too.
I like team names that are interesting, that make you go, where did that come from?
But I like the team names that come from the team.
From the team, yes. I'm definitely not going to assign them a name because that's just wrong. But I want them to come up with something that means something to them.
But then taking that team name a step further, you can build a little image around it. They can have a logo.
Yeah. Yep.
They can have colors.
Yep.
And then I can start incorporating all that on their boards and whatever else. So it makes it a little bit more interesting.
Yep. And also with that, avatars. So
I love avatars.
Having the little stickers to put on the cards, say who's working on what.
My team last was doing the South Park avatars.
Yeah, that's a popular thing.
That's a big one.
There's a site I think you can upload customized images. But I like people just, if they have a rat or if they have a My Little Pony thing or if they have a
My Little Pony?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, one of the other teams had cars at one point. Yeah, I've seen all kinds of
whatever they
interesting
want.
things.
Well, most of whatever they want. As long as it's not, as long as it's professional, it's fine. So that's all good.
So what I love is I love a good team outing. So whether it's, lunch out as a team, drinks after work as a team, movie day,
I like movie days.
We've done, in the past I've done, like we go to skeet shooting, just random things, just have that kind of team collaboration outside of the four walls. However, let me mention this. As much as I love this, I'm going to tell everybody out there in the land, not to have a mandatory fun day. I had a mandatory fun day where I told the team it was mandatory that they attended because
you all have to be here and you all have to have fun.
All have to be there and you all have to have fun. And where did we go?
And what happened, Kim?
We went to it was a
go-kart racing place. And
the go-karts went like 40 miles per hour.
These were not kiddie carts. These are not like little putt-putt or little, rinky-dink go-karts. These are manly carts.
And the team acted as if it was bumper cars. So they're driving like 40 miles an hour, banging into you. And I swear I got like whiplash like 4 times.
I had fun.
Well, let me tell you, we had one team member who cracked 2 ribs.
Yeah.
Another team member left with like a major migraine.
Yeah.
And he didn't come back to work for a couple of days.
We had some injured folks after that.
We had some injured folks. So at that point I said, no more mandatory fun days. Let's not make that mandatory anymore. No. So I would say if team outings are great and you just shouldn't make everybody required. That's my point in the story.
Yes. I just like that you're the one who said it has to be mandatory. And I said, go ahead.
It has to be mandatory. But what was fun too was, remember you got a little trophy?
That's right.
And you gave the person who had the quickest time the trophy.
Yes.
Did that? He still has that, I hope.
I think he does.
Yeah. So
there's a pencil in there.
There's a little fun thing there, right?
Yes.
A little recognition for not, almost killing your coworkers, essentially.
Yeah, that's true.
Another thing I like to do is celebrate birthdays if I know when someone's birthday is. So currently, my birthday just passed Where's my happy birthday?
Happy birthday.
Thank
Mine
you.
did too.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And my cube at this, actually I just took it down yesterday, were a whole bunch of birthday decorations that we just passed from cube to cube. So, like a happy birthday sign.
Yes.
A bunch of little hats and some streamers and whatever else. So the next person's birthday, they get their cube decorated. So it's something cute. Sometimes you bring in balloons. Sometimes you bring in some cupcakes. Just something to say, hey, we're glad that you were born because you're doing work for us. And it's nice. Happy birthday.
That's an interesting way to put it. Interesting way to put it. I'm a fan of birthdays. I'm a fan of cake.
I love cake.
Lovely cake. I'm also a fan of manipulating things. So I like toys. I like games. Several times I've done things with Legos. I love Legos still. I'm an adult. Hi, my name's Cory. I play with Legos. They're good for coaching. They're good for thought exercises. I've used them for schedules a little bit. So if I have a 3-point story and I have a 3-block Lego and I have a 20-point velocity, I'll find a way to plan using Legos. That's pretty fun. If you haven't tried that,
I'm looking at him quizzically.
Yeah. Weird.
That's very hot.
It's fun. It's just a different way to do it, right?
Okay.
I've used it for, we've played some games with Battleship. So there's some of the coaching or some of the training that we do. We go through an exercise where we try to tell people that there's 2 ways that you can do. There's not only 2 ways, but there's 2 traditional ways that you can do this. One is everything up front, and the other is you learn as you go. And we use Battleship to illustrate that. So the first example is, okay, you have 30 shots. Here's Battleship. Place your shots. No feedback before you place all your 30 shots. And then, how many ships did you sink? Well, 1, none, something like that. And then, okay, now you have 30 shots, but you're going to play the game the way it was designed. You're going to learn as you go. You're going to iterate. You're going to find out, did that work? Did that not work? And you have a much better success rate. So it's a game, but it's fun.
And then when you win, you say, I sunk your battleship. Do you remember the commercials?
Yes. Yes, that's what we say.
That's what I say.
Boards, team boards. I like having fun with team boards.
I love boards.
Decorate it, put things on it, make it lively, this is where a lot of the team activity goes on. So it should reflect the team.
I've got this killer machine at home. It's a die cutting machine. So I'll cut out the name of the team, in various letters and sizes and colors. And I kind of feel like sometimes I'm decorating like a 6th grade board, but it's awesome. I love it. I like the colors and just makes it interesting.
And it makes it fun when it's very interesting when I've done that with teams and we've had good boards like that visitors come by or customers come by and they look and they go, oh, what's going on here? And it's such a different dynamic than a lot of companies and a lot of people at companies are used to, that it's just, oh, they're having fun. They look like they're doing something interesting.
That's because they sense the collaboration. And when people are collaborating, they're happy.
Most of the time, yes. Most of the time, yes. I like it when the team has a break the build hat.
Oh, I love that too.
Or a I'm late hat or jar or rule or something like that. We've had sombreros. We've had chicken hats. We've had Russian hats.
I don't know what that's called, the little Russian hat.
I don't either. We've had all kinds of little chapeaus.
What's happened is the person that's broken the build had to put the hat on.
Until they fixed it.
And take their picture.
And take the picture.
And
that's
email
right.
the picture
We're
out
emailing
and say,
the pictures.
I broke the build. And then it stays put until a build is no longer broken, which I kind of love. So it goes kind of goes back to you making fun of yourself. Yeah. And I mean, they're making fun of themselves too.
Yes.
And it's all good fun.
I never had to wear the hat though.
Well, you never broke the build.
That's right.
You can't break the build.
No.
No, I've never had to wear the hat either. It's fine.
I'm
also about bringing some food. Let's go back to the food thing again.
Did you bring me anything?
I've been hungry all day long, but I like to bring cookies, drinks, or refreshments. I think, and I'm not saying we should do this, but we had a lot of vodka at one point because of our Russian counterparts that would come.
Yes.
And bring
we
us
had gifts. Yes.
We had all the vodka gifts. And that was interesting.
Yes.
And then someone didn't they bring like a cake that had tequila in it or something ridiculous? I don't know.
I don't remember that.
People bring in the strangest things,
cake
but it's always
tequila.
fun. Tequila cake. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so let's talk about some. So, like I said, you have to be open to this stuff. You have to say, okay, I'm going to take a joke. I'm a good target. So to let the team bond around, doing something against or for the product owner.
And I just want to point out, it's always lighthearted fun.
Yes,
it's not like mean jokes. Like these are all, and you have to know who you work with too, right?
Yes.
Some people aren't really into it.
Some people can't take it.
They can't take it, or some people don't want to be involved and they just want to be left alone. So it really depends on your team.
I want to talk about one joke that the team played on you.
Oh, I remember that joke.
So Kim got married and she went off on her honeymoon and she had been nursing, and I use that term, for 2 years, a plant.
Beautiful plant.
Big plant. It got pretty big.
Gorgeous plant.
And you went away for a week, 2 weeks, whatever it was.
3 weeks I was gone.
And I
left instructions
on how to water the plant, how to take care of the plant.
And I set up recurring meetings for the people to know what time.
You're a little obsessive.
I love it. It was my ZZ plant.
Yes.
Yep.
So you went away and one of the team decided that they would find the exact same pot that plant was in and another plant that looked very similar to that was half dead. And
well, what happened was
put it in the pot.
The half dead plant was in Mike's house, and they didn't know what to do with it because no matter it wouldn't die completely. So they found my pot.
You came back from vacation, and the majestic plant was not there. And your first thought was, they killed my plant.
I was absolutely in shock. My first thought was, how did they kill my plant in 3 weeks? Mm-hmm. What did they do to this poor plant? And then I almost wanted to cry because I was like, oh, it was such a gorgeous plant. And then my next thought was, all right, I gave it to one of my younger coworkers, and I love her. And I was like, well, she just doesn't know how to take care of things yet because she's still pretty young, doesn't have a dog or anything. I don't think it was like an hour that they brought in the old plant.
Was it that long? I thought it was only a couple of minutes.
I don't know. It felt like an hour.
I'm sure it felt like forever as you were sitting there.
It was a great joke.
Yeah.
It was really, I was impressed with their ingenuity, their creativity. Mm-hmm. And then when you went away, did you go on vacation?
I had a vacation for my birthday.
So we went to the dollar store and picked up, 20 rolls of crappy aluminum foil. Mm-hmm. And we foiled you. You've been foiled. That's what you said. We took aluminum foil. We wrapped it around every possible thing.
Every little thing I had in my desk drawers.
Everything.
Every little tchotchke and trinket I had on my desk.
All your wires.
Yes.
Your chair.
Yes.
Everything was foiled.
It was very bright.
It was magnificent.
When I got back,
it was like an art installation piece.
I had to unwrap everything.
And Cory's first response was, I've been foiled. Which I thought was pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good fun. We've had people send around video of the day. People talk about TV shows. Bagel Day is a very popular thing. Or
Breakfast Friday.
Yes.
Oh, I miss Breakfast Friday.
Yeah, especially when people cook good stuff for it.
Yes. Right? When they take pride in their Breakfast
Fridays. They don't just go and do what I do.
Donuts.
Which is
there's some bagels.
Or bagels.
That's why,
There's nothing wrong with that.
If you're going to have Breakfast Friday, let's have a very creative Breakfast Friday. Some hash browns and bacon and quiches and such. But that's always a delicious thing. Mm-hmm. I was polling my other product owners because, again, I work with a lot of POs, and I asked them, what do they do for fun? And they allowed me to use their names, so I'm going to do that. Rachel, Gina, Wen, and Sue Lee gave me a few ideas. They, of course, talk about birthday muffins.
Birthday muffins,
kind of like birthday cupcakes.
Yeah.
Team luncheons, we've talked about that. Chat rooms, we have chat rooms. We add little funny pictures, make it a little more lighthearted and fun. Mm-hmm. They keep candy at their desk, which I love because I go to their desk and get the candy.
Right.
I can't keep candy at my desk because I'll just eat it all. They keep the stand-up funny and light. They joke around. They tell silly stories. At the end of the release, they'll bring in cupcakes as a thank you for their team, which is really nice. They have simple non-work conversation. It doesn't always have to involve around work. They'll talk about other things and out-of-work activities. So one of the girls had their team members and bring their spouses to see Wicked. And they did like a weekend thing, and they all went out for dinner, which is very sweet. And I love this quote. She said, It's important to get to know each other as people and not just as employees.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the crux of it.
Yeah, I like that. It is. It's one of these things where the best teams that I've worked with, they like right before the stand up, they're talking, they're having breakfast, they're talking, and it's time for stand up, and you do your stand up. It takes 5-10 minutes. And then you have to make a clear line. Okay, stand up's over now. And then they go back to talking about the thing they were talking about before, or they talk about something that was related to the stand up, but they spin off on it. So it's just a constant thing.
The best teams, for me, have always been friends. They're friends, not just team members. You know what I mean? Like, these are people that genuinely enjoy the company of each other, and they want to go out for lunch together. They want to have drinks, and they want to catch up, and they're friends. And those have always been the best teams. And that doesn't happen overnight. You know, you don't put 6 people together and say, okay, you guys be besties now. It happens very organically and gradually. But when you finally reach that sweet spot with your team, you guys can do great things.
Yeah. And again, as the product owner, you need to let these things happen. You need to encourage them. You need to find ways to do more of them. You need to reach out, go outside your comfort zone, and help the team get there.
Yes.
Because it's better for you, it's better for them, and therefore better for your products.
And morale.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
All right. I think we've hammered home the fun.
Did you have fun?
Did I have fun?
Wasn't that fun?
It's a good title. Yes, I did.
I did too.
So if you have any feedback or questions about the product owner space, you can let us know at deliveritcast.com. We're on Twitter at deliveritcast, or you can email us at deliveritcast@gmail.com. And we have a question.
We have a question from Mary. All right, Mary wants to know, what are the tactics to use when you don't have a PO, but a virtual PO for your team? We have difficulty understanding roadmaps, which seem to change quite a bit in sprint goals and priorities.
A virtual PO.
Virtual PO.
What does that mean? Does that mean they don't fund Scrum Master and product owner roles? So?
Or they're just out of they're not local. They're in a different location. Yeah. Is that a virtual PO?
That's one of these things where, okay, so let's take it 2 different ways. So one is that they won't hire a PO, or they won't designate somebody as a PO. They won't hire the roles that they need to, right?
So everybody has to act as a PO, or at least contribute to the PO role.
Yeah, that's we're doing Agile, but we
Our
don't.
way.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing Agile, but we don't have a product owner, and we don't have a Scrum Master. We don't have a dedicated Scrum Master or a dedicated product owner. We have a developer that's doing that. We have a project manager that's serving in that role, or something like that. They're not paying the price, right? They're not fully invested in this. And you need to show them why, if you can. Show them the value of a product owner, show them the value of a Scrum Master, and what those roles can do. If you've got somebody that's on vacation and it's just a designation thing, then yeah, you can get by with, a week, maybe 2, with having somebody fill in that role. If it's something where you've got a business person who is your main product owner type role, but he doesn't write stories, and he doesn't do roadmaps, and he doesn't do all the things the product owner should be doing, then what you've got is a subject matter expert that you have to translate. And the best way to do that, of course, is with the product owner. But if you can't get one, then how do you solve that problem? That's what I'm hearing, at least. What do you think?
That's a tough dilemma.
Yeah,
because I'm curious, what other team members do they have available to them? Is it just a couple of developers and a quality analyst? Do they have a functional analyst that can maybe step into the PO role for a little while? Do they have a team lead at some point? Maybe they can help out. I don't know. Like, who else is on the team?
Yeah, if you've got developers and testers and they're working, so let's say you've got 4 developers and 2 testers and they're a team and they're doing something, right? So the something they're doing, somebody's figured out a way to come up with some type of story.
Right. They have to get their work from someplace.
To give them, right. So you can do that, but to her point, she doesn't understand roadmaps, sprint goals, or priorities because they're not being set for her or the team, right?
I guess again, what I don't know. If they're getting their stories and they're getting them done, then I don't know. I wouldn't worry about the roadmaps and the priorities. If that's not my role.
I mean, part of this is if you don't understand roadmaps, goals, and priorities, you're just doing work.
That's all you're doing.
And work comes in, and I'm doing work, and I got that work done. Mm-hmm. It is, from that sense, there's no what's the bigger purpose. There's no where are we headed with this, right? That's difficult to get somebody to tell you if they don't want to, or if they don't know, or if there's nobody to say that. What I would do in that case, if I'm on a team that's doing that, is I would start coming up with my own. I would start saying, look, here's the things we're doing. Here's the things we need to do. And here's kind of the timeline of when we're going to do those things.
That's assuming that you know what's coming up, what's in the pipeline.
But you don't. And that's what she's saying is they're not telling.
Well, then how's she supposed to know?
You're not going to.
Right.
So you need to be proactive and say what you are going to be doing. And understand that that's probably not what they're thinking, your business customers, and that's fine because then you can start to have the conversation. Okay, tell us what is on the roadmap. Tell us what you do see. Instead of these things that we've put 3 months down the road, what do you see us working on 3 months down the road? And what is that? And what does that do? Because right now we have no information.
Is there somebody that she can talk to in management? I mean, there's somebody that's approving this work, right, from a budgeting standpoint. So they should know that, hey, this is on the roadmap for the next year because we've approved the resources to work on it. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe there's someone in management she can go talk to.
It's possible, but again, I think my advice would be start coming up with your own roadmap and start sharing that and start having that artifact out there that needs to be out there and have people start talking about it. That would be my best advice.
And then maybe send your company to a good Agile training course.
I don't think it's training. I don't think it's a training. In institutions and cases where it's not that they can't find a product owner or they can't find a Scrum Master. They don't want to.
Well, that's why they need to go to training so that they can understand how important and imperative the roles are.
We talked about it before, but that's the cost of being Agile, as doing Agile versus being Agile, right?
Right.
They are not being Agile. They may think that they're doing it, but they're not.
Right.
And that's why you have some of the failure stories and adoption failures that we've heard is because they don't fund the things that they should. So
yep.
It's sad, but it's part of the transition sometimes. It is reality, right?
Reality.
But again, make what you're doing. Again, best advice for anybody doing anything on Agile projects, make what you're doing visible.
Yep.
Make it shown. Tell people about it. Let them give you feedback on it and change if you need to.
Amen, brother.
There you go.
All
right. Any other questions or comments?
I think we can wrap it up.
All right. So I will come in to say that these words are our own and are not endorsed or representative of any company or organization. You can find me online at @IsCoryBryan on Twitter or infrequently blogging, and I have an idea for a blog.
Of course you do.
At some point. Don'tYellAtMe.wordpress.com.
And as always, I can be reached through the show contact information.
And we just delivered episode 12. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Lucky number 13 next time.
Woohoo!
All right. Thank you.